Welcome to Mom Guilt and Imposter Syndrome. This training is all about understanding however you think about yourself, that's and your thoughts are going to create who you become, and it's going to create your new life, whether you like it or not. So I just love looking at definitions because it really helps my brain understand exactly what it is that I'm feeling or going through or what I'm thinking. Okay, so when I think about the idea of mom guilt, this is what I did a few years back. I just literally Googled the word guilt, and it literally just says it's the fact of having committed a specified or implied offense or crime. And so basically, when we're talking about mom guilt, it's like we think that there are all these rules and all these crimes that we are committing by wanting to take a shower by ourselves or wanting to eat with two hands and not have to, be holding a baby or a toddler screaming at a restaurant. Like we feel guilty. We think these imaginary rules are here for us as moms. And this is why we feel guilty. We've gained these like imaginary rules through society, or through our own thinking of, maybe how we were raised up, or maybe just our own high standards and expectations for ourselves. And so the idea behind taking a look at literally what it means to be guilty is, again, you have committed a specified or implied offense or crime. And so when we talk about this idea of like why it matters about your thoughts, okay, I want you to ask yourself and evaluate anytime you start to feel guilty, okay, especially around being a mom and an entrepreneur. Ask yourself, should I feel guilty for, most commonly, starting a business? For wanting to create a better life for my family? For wanting more time? Actually, just for wanting more. For wanting financial security, wanting financial freedom, and then just the basics life of like wanting to take a shower. We feel guilty for wanting to take a shower. I mean, come on. It's crazy to think, okay? And this is no judgment because I used to feel guilty for like, okay, I just want to take a shower by myself. I don't want to take a shower with baby. I don't want to take a shower with the toddler. Like, they don't need me for those 10 minutes of their lives. And so thinking about the idea that, are you guilty? Are you committing a crime? Maybe even in motherhood, are you committing a crime by wanting to take a shower alone? Are you committing a crime for wanting some time alone to fill your own cup up? And if you are feeling guilty about that, then you need to change your thoughts because, as it says, it's all about your thoughts and your perception of what motherhood should be like, about what business should be like, about what your life should be like, about what your relationship should be like. It all comes down to your thoughts. So the strategy here is so simple to overcome mom guilt, okay? It is so simple. This training is going to be like 5 minutes long because I don't want us spending any more time than necessary on mom guilt. We're going to release it all. We're just going to remove it all in 5 minutes. So I want to let you know that the strategy behind this, so like the mindset we just spoke about, like it's literally just your thoughts about what guilt is and the imaginary rules that you've created. So the strategy is so simple that your brain might actually be confused. Your brain might be like, wait, will this work? Because it's so simple. And sometimes our brains want things to be hard. Like we just make things hard for ourselves without even realizing it. And so throughout this entire program, I'm going to bring up very simple concepts. And again, your brain might just be confused. But if you can get over the confusion and just trust and have faith in yourself that yes, this is simple. It's okay that it's simple. And it's gonna work just because it's simple, okay? So here is a simple strategy. You're just gonna stop thinking those thoughts. You're gonna decide right now to stop thinking those thoughts that I should feel guilty because I wanna start a business. That I'm spending time away from my kids means that I should be guilty. That's the strategy. You're just gonna stop thinking those thoughts. They are not serving you. We're gonna throw those out the window. You're not gonna think these thoughts anymore. And now you have to fill those thoughts, you have removed those thoughts from your brain. And now you have to fill in the spots in your brain where those thoughts once were. So you're going to decide right now and you're going to self-coach and you're going to put new thoughts in place of those. It's just like building a house. You're taking out, like if you have mold in your house, you're taking out the mold, but you're not just going to leave an empty hole there, right? You're going to fill it back up with like fresh wall. I don't know what they use to build walls, but you're going to rebuild that. It's the same thing with your thoughts. You're taking out one thought that is not serving you. It's causing you a disservice. And now you have to put in a new thought. And that's where the self-coaching model comes in and it's so powerful. So here it is. Instead of saying, I'm spending more time away from my kids, we're not going to think that anymore. We're going to say, I'm spending this time building a better future for my family. Can you see how like such a simple shift that is, but how empowering that is? So instead of being focused on like, I'm spending more time away from my kids, you're really focused just on building a better future for your family. Remember that you just get to decide what you think and don't think. Think starting a business. Okay, these thoughts that you're bringing up, wanting to create a better life. What are the thoughts that are coming up for you right now? This is where your self-coaching is going to come in. These are common themes, okay? Wanting more, just wanting more. What thoughts come up for you? Do you feel bad for wanting more in life? Do you feel bad for wanting financial freedom? Like, well, I mean, we're pretty comfortable right now. Like, if I make more money, I'm going to be a bad person. What are your thoughts that are coming up for yourself? What are thoughts that come up for you when you just think about, like, taking a shower alone? What thoughts come up for you when you think about taking time for yourself as a mom, as a human being? What thoughts come up for you when you think about becoming a CEO? So the exercise that you're actually going to be doing, like physically going to be doing to remove these thoughts, is you're going to get coaching on all of your thoughts holding you back from removing the guilt. And this is so important. We're going to talk about imposter syndrome next, but it's so important to get coaching on all of this because the next couple weeks, you're going to be making a lot of decisions for your business so that you can start it and start making money. And if you can't overcome the mom guilt, if you can't overcome the imposter syndrome, if you cannot manage your thoughts around becoming the CEO of your business, you will not be able to make effective, simple, quick, clear, confident decisions, and you won't be able to start your business, and you won't be able to start making money because you're still going to be stuck on step one. And we really want to create a solid foundation for you and continue to self-coach and get coaching from me so that you can, again, start your business and start making money. So you're going to use the self-coaching model and submit it for coaching. You're going to create your unintentional models, okay? So that's just the immediate first things you think about when you think about becoming an actual CEO, becoming the business owner. And then you're going to create your intentional models of like, what do I actually want to be thinking? How can I be intentional about my thoughts? And then you're going to email them to me and we're going to do coaching on them. We're going to do live coachings on the Wednesdays on those scheduled calls, and we're going to coach through every single thought, okay? So here are just a couple circumstances that I wanted to give you just to kind of give you a couple of different ideas, okay? Some circumstances that come up for like mom guilt is spending time on my business or spending money on my business versus, for my kids. Another circumstance is working on my business, like actually working on my business. A circumstance is starting a business, okay? So you're going to do self-coaching model on all of these. Write your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your results on these circumstances. And the reason why I really want to point out that these are circumstances is because they just are. Sometimes we take a look at the circumstance of I'm spending time on my business as it's a bad thing, but that's actually a thought. Okay, so circumstance is literally just like, okay, from 6 to 9, I'm working on my business. That's just a circumstance. It's just a matter of fact. That's literally what is factual and it's happening. But my thought of that's too much time away from my kids, that's the thought that is coming up when I think about the circumstance, spending time on my business. So be careful when you're using the self-coaching model to make sure that circumstances are just matter of facts, and then you can pick thoughts about those circumstances, okay? All right, next we're going to talk about imposter syndrome. So typically imposter syndrome for a lot of people comes with the idea of like they doubt their capabilities, their expertise, okay? They feel like they're not good enough to be doing that or for people to be following them or buying their program or for them to be coaching. Especially for moms, moms think I'm just a mom. Like who am I to be starting a business? Who am I to be coaching? Who am I to show up as anyone else but a mom? Imposter syndrome also comes in the idea of like, I'm not an expert in this. And to touch on the idea of like not being an expert, just understand that anytime you start a business, you don't need to be an expert. You just need to be 1 or 2 steps ahead of whoever you're helping. I always like to use the example of like tying shoes. I am not like an expert shoe tire. I don't consider myself an expert in tying shoes. But when I'm teaching my kids, I show up as the expert. You know why? Because I know how to tie my shoes and they don't. I'm just 1 step ahead of them. And that's it. You don't need to be a master shoe tire. I don't need to have a YouTube like channel all about how to tie shoes or how to make the bunny or how to sing the songs. Like, I don't need to be an expert. I just need to know how to get the result and show my child how to get that result. And you can do the same in your business that you're starting. Another idea around imposter syndrome is that like you're fooling other people, especially for starting new businesses. Like, I'm fooling people because they think that I have this successful business and I'm just starting out. But the reality is that you are good enough right now. You are the expert to the person that needs your help right now. You are only fooling yourself with all of these thoughts that, again, are not serving you. So, going back to just the Google definition, an imposter is honestly just a person who pretends to be someone else in order to deceive others, especially for fraudulent gains. So you literally cannot be an imposter unless you're doing the above things. Like, are you purposefully pretending to be somebody else to deceive other people? You might feel like you're deceiving other people, but again, that's just a thought. But you are not doing that to deceive other people, specifically for fraudulent gains. Like, you are not purposely doing that. You just think you are trying to deceive others, but you're not. Syndrome is just how you think about yourself as the imposter. And you've already learned that you can change how and what you think. So I want to talk a little bit about pain and pleasure. Everything we do in our lives is driven by our fundamental need to either avoid pain and our desire to gain pleasure. So both of these are biologically based and they just constitute as twin controlling forces in our lives. And so basically what that means is that like both of these are controlling forces that direct our lives. We are always directed by avoiding pain or gaining pleasure. Both of these create thoughts in our minds about ourselves, our business, motherhood, everything. When you not only understand and take control over this power that you have, the power to identify and control the pain and pleasures in your life, you start to create the lasting changes in life and business that you truly desire. And now let's bring this all together, the imposter syndrome and like the pain and pleasure aspect, okay? Our brains are old. They are thousands and thousands of years old. They are always trying to protect us from pain and give us pleasure. It's just like the caveman thing, you know, like they're always trying to escape death. And that is essentially what our brains are doing here, okay? We think like when we think these thoughts, they might seem negative already, okay? Like I'm doubtful, I'm just a mom, all these, they might seem negative already, but really our brain is trying to protect us from any other kind of pain. Even more pain, from failure, from being embarrassed, from feeling any type of more pain than staying where we are now, comfortable. Because even though staying comfortable might be painful, getting publicly embarrassed could be even more painful. Failing in front of your partner could be more painful. Failing in front of your friends and family could be more painful. And so this idea of the imposter syndrome, like we're not good enough, I'm not the expert, you know, like all these thoughts that we have about ourselves, is just our brain trying to protect us from all of the other pain that could come from us actually trying and starting a business and making money. So what we have to do is train our brains to want to overcome the minimal pain of making a decision for all of the good and pleasure we can create for our future self. And why are these two shifts so essential in mom guilt and imposter syndrome? Besides becoming the CEO of your business, overcoming feeling like an imposter and mom guilt is going to allow you to take the necessary steps in the coming weeks of gaining clarity and confidence to make decisions and take massive actions towards reaching your goals, towards creating a better life. So right now, we're going to do an exercise. You're going to step into your future self right now. Previously in the other training, we spoke about creating beliefs and becoming who you are now, a CEO. So what we're really going to do in this exercise is we're going to find evidence for your goals that you've already achieved, for how far for who you are now, and for who you have had to become in order to achieve these goals. So right now, I just want you to get a blank sheet of paper or like a notepad or whatever you have, but clear, just completely clear, and you're actually going to close your eyes for this exercise.